yes. And I'm sure people are seeing me at this point, so I should be saying stuff. Hey, everybody, this is Sam Proof from The Kick-In Show. My guest today is Ryan Spindell, writer and director from the Mortuary Collection, now fundraising on Kickstarter.
That's right.
It is a horror anthology. And why an anthology and not a feature?
Oh, it is a feature.
Well, why several storylines and not a single?
I think it's just sort of a bit of an homage to what is one of my favorite subgenres of horror. I think.
Yeah.
You know, like Creepshow is the big one that everyone knows.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, the movie,
Right.
Great one. Tales from the Dark Side. The older Amicus films. I really loved that sort of variety show style of storytelling.
Right.
And it was a subgenre that was huge back in the day and has pretty much all but disappeared, other than a few of these independents who are sort of still fighting the good fight, trying to bring it back, like the VHS guys.
You definitely don't see it in movies, in the theaters, and somewhat in show form. Mostly, I think internet has it. Like, there's a couple, like Black Box TV,
right?
And Denise Vlogs does something along those lines,
right?
Which is like haunted stories.
No, there's some really cool ones. Also, Bloody Cuts is a UK company that does some really cool ones.
I've heard that one.
They're great. I'd highly suggest checking them out. But no, you bring up a good point, which is that the anthology format actually doesn't exist at all on television.
Yeah.
On mainstream television here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
There is one show, a British show called Black Mirror. There's like 3 episodes per season.
Okay.
And it's insane. It's amazing.
All right, cool. Before we go on, we're going to check in with the chat room, and I actually have to load that up. For those of you watching, you can send us, questions for Ryan, and we'll get to those later on in the show. Also, really quick, I am giving away 4 copies of Workaholic Season 4 on my website, samproof.tv. Go there and you'll find it. But you can also find the link to the Mortuary Collection, the Kickstarter for that, and some of the information about that, some drawings, and you guys did like a 12-minute mini documentary.
We did.
On anthology in general.
Absolutely, yeah. It's called We Come in Pieces.
Yeah.
You can also find that.
I'm glad that I wasn't on screen for that whole bit that I just said. That's me. This is what it would look like if I was talking at the same time. All right. You are the sole writer-director for this?
I am, for this project, yep.
Because generally with Twilight Zone and I think Tales from the Crypt, there was teams of writer-directors and all that. Why take it all on yourself? Or did you already have all these stories and you just wanted to go forward?
I did. Okay. It's a few different reasons, but I think the original horror anthology films, the Amicus films, were usually tackled by one director. I think that's more of a recent thing, having the multiple directors coming in. It's sort of like an outsourced way to make a film.
Gotcha.
But it's interesting because that's sort of the newer style is to have all these multiple directors. But whenever I talk to anybody, they're really surprised to say, "Oh, I'm going to be writing and directing the whole thing."
Mm-hmm.
But it's important too. There are multiple segments, but this is one movie. This is one storyline. The characters intertwine, and it
so
really
there's something that holds it together as a glue.
Absolutely. Yeah. All the characters from the stories intertwine in the other stories, and there's a wraparound that sort of pulls it all together into.
Okay. So you already have everything written. Can you say anything about the stories themselves? I have a zombie thing and a vampire thing. Okay.
Well, the wraparound story, which is kind of a really important component to the best anthologies, is this story about this young girl who's sort of kind of been sort of hitchhiking around, and she sort of rolls into this kind of sleepy New England town. And she gets into a sort of a misunderstanding with the police, and she hides out in this old decrepit mortuary. And when she's inside this mortuary, she meets this mortician, Montgomery Dark, who's looks like a total creep, but we soon learn that he's actually kind of a sweetheart. And the two of them sort of bond over this mutual fascination for all things macabre. And she says, "Well, you must have been a mortician in this town for what, 200-300 years? Tell me some of the craziest stories that you've ever seen." And so he then sort of weaves 4 different tales and then it sort of wraps up with her story becomes its own story at the end. But one of the most important things about it is the sort of, yeah, it's not important, but each segment is a different horror subgenre. So it's sort of like, it really is a potpourri of sort of some of my different favorite parts of horror. So we have this like a twist on a slasher tale, which is the one that we're doing now, called The Babysitter, and that's essentially it's like the most classic setup you've ever seen. The babysitter's home alone. The inmate escapes from the asylum, and he shows up at her door.
So this is a porn anthology, is what you're saying. No, all right. Has that been done? No. All right.
You know what? Has that been done?
I don't know.
That's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
All right.
Yeah. So but this babysitter is more than she seems, and
okay.
It's a bit of a Home Alone meets a slasher movie. There's a monster movie. There's a movie about a womanizing college kid who refuses to use protection one night on a one-night stand, and he wakes up the next morning and he's pregnant.
Okay.
And he goes through all 9 months of pregnancy over the course of a day as he's like struggling to find this girl and try to figure out what's happening to him.
Okay.
There's like there is a psychological tale of madness called Till Death, which is basically it's sort of like a twist on The Telltale Heart.
Sure.
But it's this claustrophobic guy. He murders his wife. He puts her in a trunk, and he's going down in the elevator in his building. And halfway down, the elevator breaks down, and he's sort of trapped for the night with this corpse.
Is it one of those like super old school like Hollywood Tower elevators?
Totally. Old crumbling.
I've been
brick.
in that one, and it broke down.
The Tower of Terror?
No, there's an elevator that ride was based on in the Hollywood Tower, which is on it's like Franklin, right by the.
I didn't know that was an actual place.
It's right by the Scientology Celebrity Center and Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah.
There's a old maybe 1920s hotel.
I think I know. Is it a hotel or apartments?
Oh, actually, I think it is apartments.
Yeah.
It is now, and like K-Rock or somebody rents out the roof like all the time to do like events,
parties and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's the place that they built the Tower of Terror?
Yeah, that elevator. Because, like,
awesome.
I guess back then it didn't have the catches in it, so, like, the elevator would just, like, thump, and people died.
Really?
I think so, yeah. That's my understanding.
Wow.
Maybe that's just the, urban legend to it, but...
Wow,
yeah.
That's crazy. That's cool. I love that ride. I just love the ambiance of that ride. Like, waiting in line in that ride is as cool as the ride itself.
Sure.
Like the old hotel with, like, the cobwebs and everything. Super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you actually bring up a good point. That is sort of like the tone of the Mortuary Collection does have that a very gothic, old school horror type vibe. Kind of a little bit of the fantastic, a little Guillermo del Toro-esque kind of a storybook quality.
Cool.
Yeah.
So now I know you through Zane Grant, who he's been on other versions of shows of mine for different things. He's a writer. That has done some comic books with his sister Bria Grant,
right?
Who I saw in you had like a trailer,
right? Yeah, she was in my last film.
Yeah, for that. What was that called?
The Root of the Problem.
Yeah, that was the creepiest dentist thing I'd ever seen. So that was awesome.
Thank you.
But who else is on your team?
It's me and my producer Ben Heathcote. He's the guy that's in our Kickstarter video with me as the corpse, the disemboweled corpse.
Right.
And then I'm working with this amazing concept artist named Carl Slaminski.
Yeah.
If you go to the Kickstarter page, you can see some of his stuff. We're actually about to release a really cool special update with like a Mondo style print that he did.
Okay.
He just consistently blows my mind. This guy Josh Michael is a old friend, actor, storyboard artist. Has been working with us. I mean, this project has been in development for. We've been struggling to get this thing made for over a year now, so we've really like gone through all the paces, and we really are like.
Did you try to go like the Hollywood route and like pitch it and all that stuff?
Oh man,
it just didn't work out.
It's the anthology thing. They just don't like it. They don't. There's not really a good reason for it.
Yeah, when was the last actual anthology to hit theaters?
We talked about this.
The 90s.
We think it's Tales from the Hood was the last one to get like a major release, which was in the 90s.
It was what, like early 90s?
Yeah, we talked about this when we did the doc, the short doc. That was a question that a lot of people were like, when was the last the last anthology, and that's the thing. So the
Yeah.
Hollywood has nothing to compare it to,
Sure.
yet they still insist it doesn't work. But people were insisting found footage wasn't going to work.
Right,
10
and then
years ago.
you got all that stuff. I mean, there was one that just came out that was huge.
Found footage.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean, so many of them.
yeah. I mean that kind of works its way into a lot of films now. Not exclusively. It's not like Blair Witch,
Right.
but like I'm totally spacing on names of things. That Spielberg movie.
Oh yeah,
Super 8.
Yeah. I love that.
Had a
movie.
lot of found footage kind of feel to it.
It did. I think it's like becoming. It's such a part of who we are now with camera on every phone, and you can't really avoid it.
Mm-hmm. And there's that new one coming out. Now that you said that about just saw this trailer like 2 days ago. There's a little girl and she's like stuff. Oh, maybe it's
I think the new Friday the 13th is going to be a film.
Oh, is it?
That's what I heard. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of. I got flipped in my head because I just watched White House Down. And there's like this girl going through that, and she's got like a cell phone, and she's doing all that stuff. And I was like, the minute I was saying it, I was like, little girl, but that's actually White House Down. But there was like a trailer that I'd seen recently for. It's not a horror. It's more of an action monster alien thing. It's the robot movie. It's literally they took E.T.
Yeah, I saw this too. I saw this.
Mm-hmm. It's whatever that is.
It's a found footage version of E.T.
Basically.
With a robot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like E.T. and Super 8 smashed together.
It's the same but different.
Right, exactly. So you're doing all found footage? No, I'm just kidding.
So it's going to be all found footage.
Right. Well, that's the way of the future. Found footage and an anthology. So you got 2 strikes against you. Yeah. I don't know. What is not your favorite, but the most memorable anthology segment you think you've ever seen?
It's probably I got 2 that are neck and neck.
Okay.
The first one is probably The Terror at 10,000 Feet from the Twilight Zone movie with John Lithgow.
The remake.
The remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it's
classic. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I can watch it again and again.
Sure.
It never gets old. John Lithgow is just insane. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's great in that.
You just watch his face. There's actually one thing we found that was really cool. When we were making the doc, we were sort of going through footage of it, and there's like this shot of John Lithgow. It's like through the airplane window, and he sees the monster, and he screams, and it like cuts to a shot of him, and his eye. You can tell it's like a prosthetic head, and his eyes blow up like balloons and explode for like a split second.
Really?
And then he like jumps up and he turns, and it just like. I guess
I don't remember that. Oh my god!
You wouldn't even notice it unless you're like shooting through like we are, like creeps, like just going
super
frame
crazy.
by frame.
Okay. Yeah.
And then in Creepshow 2, there's a segment called The Raft, which we touched on a little bit in the doc, and it's these 4 kids, and they swim out to this like raft out in a lake, like sort of in the middle of nowhere, and then there's this like sludgy slime monster in the water.
Oh yeah, right, yes, yeah. I remember that. It's a very
And I guess they're both
Jason-y feel. Yeah.
I guess those are both. Now that I think about it, they're both examples of very contained small stories.
Sure.
And I think that's a big thing, a big draw for me to the anthology format, is that like I read a lot, but I love reading short stories. Like some stories should be told in a condensed way. Some stories don't need 2 hours.
I mean, my favorite Stephen King stuff is his short story stuff.
Man.
It's like the Bachman books and like
good.
different seasons and all that.
So good. I read those again and again. I've got them all on my shelf, and I just pick them up every year. And
they're easy reads.
They're so good. Did you read his All Dark No Stars? It was like 4 novellas.
I don't think so.
Came out recently.
No, I haven't read him in decades.
Oh, it's good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how he is continuously just churning out amazing stuff.
Right.
I think.
Huh. Just realized how weird this is. Like our backs are together. I'm gonna flip us. Hey God, I'm doing this. This is gonna be better.
We're doing like a back-to-back Charlie's Angels thing.
Oh yeah, there's a whole swap button.
There we go.
Yeah, that was way
so
better.
We've been.
Yeah, it's like
this way.
It's like some weird 80s band, like boy band poster. But yeah, again, if you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comments on the YouTube page, and we'll get to them at the end of the segment. So now your Kickstarter,
Mhm.
it's been up for almost 3 weeks, something like that. Or did
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
longer?
We're a little over 2 weeks, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have about 12 days or something left. I think
Right,
that's right.
right.
You guys have your goal was 50,000.
Mhm.
You're at 38,000 right
Mhm.
now, which is pretty substantial. Like that's a pretty good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna totally make it.
I hope so. I mean,
Well, they
it's
say like the first like 25 and the last 25% happen in those
I know. That's what
24
people keep
hours or
telling me
whatever.
when they
So
see
yeah,
me, when they see me like at my computer.
I mean you got to push it. What are you doing to like it's that middle, like that plateau. What are
Mhm.
you doing to keep it busy right now?
I mean, the thing that we've, because I'm like everybody or like most people, I had my reservations about Kickstarter
Sure.
for sure. I mean, the last thing I want to do is hoard all my friends and continuously like
Yeah.
bombard people.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that we went into once we finally decided to do this, we're like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right. And the thing that we're always sort of reminding ourselves in the office is that we want to make sure we're like approaching people in a creative way. We're not just like saying, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And we're trying to be classy about it. I mean, look, if it gets to be like a day before the end and we need $10,000, I don't know how classy we're going to be.
Sure.
But I'm hoping that we don't have to get to that point. And so far, the response has been like overwhelming.
Cool.
But we are in a dead zone. And they, I read like a million articles before we did it, and everybody warns like you are going to hit a dead zone, and it is going to be hard. And I'm like, okay, I think I know. I wasn't ready. It still hits you when you're like, you're at your computer and we're trying to
what can I be doing right now?
And we did this doc, and the doc was really great.
Yeah.
But we haven't really been getting more money, but we've been getting a ton of love, which is like as good.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were on Fangoria and Dread Central and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got
covered
covered by
a lot of press.
Shakti Drop did a piece,
cool.
Which was awesome. Blade Disgusting. But somebody sent me one the other day that was in Spanish, like a South American horror site. It was awesome. I had to translate it to see what they said, but they were very nice.
Cool. Was it Google Translate?
Google Translate,
yeah, nice.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
But no, this is you bring up a good point. It doesn't. The thing that we try to do as well is when I've donated to other. I mean, I've given to lots of campaigns before.
I think that's actually a big selling point for a lot of potential donators is like they'll see that you've donated and they're like, oh well, yeah, give back to the community.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's the problem. There's that stigma about Kickstarter because it is abused by a lot of people.
Sure.
But once you sort of sift that stuff away, there's some really, really cool stuff on there.
Oh yeah. So you said you have donated to a bunch of stuff. What projects?
I like comic books a lot.
Okay.
I'm really into comics.
Yeah.
I do if something's good in horror.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get behind it just because I know exactly where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I just backed this project the other day, which is crazy to be backing things when I'm like
when
trying
you're
to
fundraising. Sure.
But it's such a killer. It's called I'm blanking on it right now, but it's something zero. It's Ground Zero or something, and it's a bunch of amazing comedians in there in this underground bunker.
Oh, right on. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
A post-apocalyptic. What is it called now? That sucks that I can't remember it. Look it up. It has zero in it. It's great.
I'll see if I can find it.
But yeah, I think anything where it looks like the people have their shit together, and it looks like they're doing something. Like if it's just you and your webcam, and you're just like trying to get a couple $1,000 to make some movie that you might or might not make, that doesn't really inspire me. I want to see people who really believe.
Channel Zero.
Channel Zero,
right there on the front page for LA. Look at that.
Check it out. Oh, there's also Reading Rainbow. I get most people haven't heard of that one. But.
Yeah, no, nobody is. You got to give to this project. Totally underfunded. They have nobody attached, and it's so sad. But they wanna bring books to the world.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been doing this. Just started this new job, and the day, like 30 hours into Reading Rainbow's launch, I was talking to someone about Kickstarters, and we went. And we were looking at the Reading Rainbow one, and it was like $500, $5,000. It was just like just could watch it roll over, and it was like. We saw it almost break 2 million, and it was just like unbelievable.
It's insane. And if you watch the movie, like you can't not want to give to it. It's crazy. I was like, what is this Reading Rainbow thing trying to steal our culture?
Their trailer. Yeah, it was so really clever.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But I think that's you know, it's almost like I almost want everybody. Want to suggest that all creatives do. Do you know this guys?
I know. Yeah. So I'm looking at the Channel Zero thing. I know Kevin Peterson and Alex Fernie. They're both from Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. Well, Alex Fernie is one of the smartest, funniest guys I know.
Yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So give to Chat. Oh, wait.
Channel Zero.
Channel Zero. Yeah.
No, they're running like again. I've talked to the creator and we've been emailed back and forth and. Yeah. They're running a really classy campaign, and I just really respect that. And it's what's
I'll have to check that out.
$25 to help some people do some really cool stuff.
Yeah. So, back to the Mortuary Collection. So, what kind of perks are you guys giving out?
Our perks are really art heavy.
Okay.
Because we just have such amazing artwork that we want to sort of put out. So we got the standard stuff, which is the Blu-ray, the DVD, digital downloads, all of that stuff.
Right.
And then we have, as you get higher, we're doing these limited runs of this amazing this artist friend of mine, Eric Geist, E.M. Geist.
Okay.
He did like a lot of the covers for the Strain comic book, Guillermo del Toro's comic book.
Oh, okay.
Recently.
Nice.
He's insane. He's incredibly talented. He did this really cool poster for us. So we're giving those away. We've tried some like kind of so we tried some sort of like more unique perks. Like one of the perks is that we'll take one of your ideas and turn it into a screenplay.
Okay.
Or like help you put together a project if you want to make short. Nobody's
like
gone for that yet.
Outside of the Mortuary Collection.
Yeah.
Like just randomly. Story number 5. It happens to be just this chick and she's on the beach with a horse. And I don't know.
Exactly.
It had to happen. She paid us like $10,000.
We have one of the things that we're gonna do is we haven't released this one yet, but it's going to be you get a call from Montgomery.
Okay.
Like so you or somebody else will call you.
He's basically your crypt keeper.
He's sort of like our crypt keeper.
He's your wraparound narrator.
Yeah. So the thing will be like you can get a call or your friend can get a call, but we can't promise he'll be in a good mood.
That's pretty funny.
We had 2 on-camera deaths that both went.
Oh wow! How much were those for?
$2,500.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome. It was awesome.
Are those people local?
No. No, the guy who just bought one is in Vancouver, but he's going to come down and we're going to work with him. It's going to be awesome. And then my dad bought the other one.
Oh, nice. That's
kinda.
Cool. I mean, it's weird. Yeah,
it's weird,
but
I'm like, all right, I guess so. He's like, I think your little brother will probably want to do it. I'm like, no, we're not killing my little brother on camera.
Why not?
Well,
how old is he?
Maybe we will. 11. Pretty young, right? A little too young for not.
Mostly, it's the union stuff you have to watch out for. I think that's great because nobody does that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, that's that thing where it's like, if the Hunger Games was really 6-year-olds, it would be such a better movie.
That's true.
Or however old they were in that book. I mean, even with like stuff that's not that thing, like Ender's Game, he was supposed to be basically 10, and he's like 18 in that movie.
In the actual movie.
Yeah.
I think this is why they were trying to get. Oh man, I'm having such a blanking on names.
I know, right?
Today. What is the Battle Royale?
Yeah,
They've been trying to remake that for years. I'm like, what?
You can't unless you really do it.
And then they made Hunger Games, which is basically that.
Yeah, it's the cheesy version.
It's the sexy version.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we were even talking about.
Perks.
Oh yeah.
Or just killing your brother.
Yeah, killing my brother is a perk.
Yeah.
For $10,000, you can murder my brother.
Right on.
I've got a bunch of them. So.
Were there any other cool perks that you wanted to throw out there?
I mean, I think they're all cool. I mean, I want them all. We'll be doing like props from the movie, and somebody should really snag that $10,000 producer credit.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
That would really set us over the edge.
Like, I really wish I could do that, so I'd be my own producer.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. What's kind of nice about this project, I mean, obviously this is like way presumptuous, and
sure,
maybe we don't even make our goal, which fingers crossed.
It seems like you're on the way.
All right. I just need you to tell me that. I need the reaffirmation.
From everything I've seen, yeah, you're gonna make it.
Well, one of the things that's kind of nice about this is with this $50,000, we're going to make the first piece of the puzzle, which is like one of the shorts. And we're going to really like put all our emphasis into making something that looks really fantastic. For that price. If by some crazy chance we were to go above 50 now, then we can start having this conversation. Well, how much do we need to do 2 of them? And so that's what's kind of nice about this project is that potentially we could make the whole movie
Sure.
if people got behind it, but that's that's a big price tag.
Right. So if it comes down to it, and you just get the bare minimum to just make the one, what happens to that one? You just go the festival route?
We probably will do festivals, but we're sort of using it as what's called like a proof of concept. So this is kind of a thing that's like people have been doing it for a long time, but it's kind of like coming into vogue now, which is like somebody makes a short that's sort of like a sales tool. I think they did it for Saw.
Right.
And I thought this was a really cool idea, but I was thinking, well, what if we made a proof of concept, but it was actually a piece of the actual movie too? So we're actually chipping away at this feature, while also showing people exactly what it's going to play out like. So that's sort of the idea, to sort of we'll make the movie. We'll start using that to try to raise the money. We're not looking for a lot of money to make the feature anyway, and hopefully even this Kickstarter campaign is a bit of a marketing tool.
Sure.
I mean, that wasn't the intention going in, but we sort of realized, this is a great way to start talking to
definitely
people.
One of the perks about doing any kind of crowdfunding thing is that it is a chance to build that audience.
Totally. And it's a way for us to connect, to like find these people, the people that I want to connect with, like the people that love this stuff as much as I do and that want to see it come back. And knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but if we can't find enough people to get funded, then maybe this is not a genre that
maybe the studios have done their research.
Maybe they know what they're talking about. But
seems unlikely, but
yeah, I mean I do not. Yeah, I mean I very strongly believe that there's a huge audience out there, and I think
trauma still exists for a reason,
right? Totally.
Carpenter still makes movie for
And genre fans are the best. Like they're the most loyal.
Yes.
They'll support you and they'll
have nothing else to do.
Watch it.
I like stuff. I'm a big zombie fan. I have a whole website just for that kind of crap.
Awesome.
I have Pizza Games and Zombies, which is it's
cool.
board games and zombies.
What is it? What you sell board games?
No, it was a show like this. It's
cool.
also on hiatus, where we would play a board game, review a pizza, and talk about zombies.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It kind of fell through because two of my co-hosts didn't really get the live aspect of it, and also like the whole stick game going under thing kind of put a wrench into it. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the Mortuary Collection, and to answer Mark Davison's question in the comments on the YouTube, so he says, "How do you see the trailer for Mortuary Collection, and what are the holy fuck moments?" So you don't have an actual trailer, but you have a campaign video.
Correct.
On the Kickstarter page.
Correct.
And if you're on the YouTube page, you can find the direct link in the extended description. It's down here somewhere. And you hit show more, and then go. Yeah, I don't, so I assume it's from your guys' fan club. So what? Yeah, what are the holy fuck moments?
The holy fuck moments?
Can you even say that? Yeah. The gargoyle was the girl the whole time.
Oh man,
nobody's gonna know that reference unless they watch the mini doc.
When we were making that mini doc, I was worried about that. I was like, this mini doc should be called Spoiler Alert.
Yeah.
But then
things on the plane. No, I mean they're 20 years old.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I know we're like going on a tangent again with this doc, but the amount of people who aren't even necessarily horror fans who have seen it and been like, I gotta check out that movie. Like just the fact that these people are becoming re-inspired to check out these movies is so cool. Like if that's all we got out of it, like that's totally worth it.
Yeah, honestly, I was watching that and I was like, oh, I never saw Tales from the Hood for starters. And then I was like, man, I honestly don't remember how half of these ended. And then I was like, how come Amazing Stories isn't on here? But that was a TV show, wasn't it?
It was a TV show.
And you were just doing features.
We were, because what happened was we ended up getting so much information. We were like, oh, this could be a feature. I mean, there could be a whole segment on television.
Maybe you should just be doing docs on anthologies.
Should be doing. I mean, that's definitely something that I would be interested in doing because I just love them so much. I could talk about anthologies all day long.
Yeah, I was actually, now that I said that, I was like, have you? You guys need to send this over to Geekscape. Have you guys been on there? Do you know if they covered you yet?
I don't think they have.
Because they did Doc of the Dead, which is a documentary about zombies.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they would totally put that up on their blog and stuff like
That's
that.
a great idea.
Yeah.
We'll do that. I mean, we're trying to. I've been trying to reach out to to everybody in the sort of geek sphere that
Yeah.
would be into this sort of thing.
Definitely.
Which is super cool. Yeah, I mean, but it was that the whole doc was it was funny because it started out as a bit of a like a promotional thing, but then it took on a life of its own, and it was like we were sort of doing the doc and like making a full blown film at the same time as putting together the Kickstarter campaign.
Right.
So it was definitely an overwhelming experience to like lead up to launch, and even until we finally got the doc out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was so much fun, and I got to sit down with Joe Dante.
Right on.
What?
That's
anything. I could have not even been recording and just like that would have been
just.
Good
I'm
for
just
me.
gonna sit here and drink coffee. Cool? Is that cool? You do whatever you gotta do.
And the people we met were. Have you seen Tales from the Hood since?
No, I haven't. I've never seen that.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. There's something about it. I think it like a lot of people hear the Tales from the Hood and they
I think there's definitely there's a bias toward like this is gonna be super campy.
Yeah.
Where it's like Twilight Zone and.
But it's not. It's like it's really clever. The producer and the writer Darren Scott was one of the people in our we interviewed who is so cool to hang out with for a day, and each of his segments. I mean, I think it's funny when I think about the Mortuary Collection. Not to come around full circle, but going back and watching all of these different anthology movies, I realized how much they sort of unconsciously influenced the Mortuary Collection, and the Tales from the Hood was a really great one because that one has a really solid wraparound story in which the characters are intertwining with the world, and they like they have like their own comeuppance at the end that's been linked to one of the stories as well.
Okay.
But it's so funny to go back and to sort of be. I mean, when I say go back, I watch these things all the time. So
sure.
To go back and watch it again for the third time this year, but to just see where I sort of like picked or stole all these different like little nuggets that I loved and sort of put them in, and I was like, oh, look at this amazing thing I just came up with off the top of my brain. No, I mean it's also Tales from the Hood is set in a mortuary.
So do you think the sort of appeal of anthology is that inherent twist at the end? Because I think they all kind of have that. I think that you can't do horror anthology at least, without that. Do you think you could?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's the Twilight Zone style ending that you're sort of talking about.
Yeah.
Because the Twilight Zone.
I honestly don't remember how a lot of the Crypt ones ended. Maybe they didn't have that twist, but
it's ironic comeuppance for Tales from the Crypt. Yeah.
That's still a twist, kind of.
It is. Yeah. The guy who Yeah, I mean.
It's a reveal. There's a reveal, and you're like, oh.
And that's how these are. The Mortuary Collection is designed in that way too, in which they're flawed characters, hopefully not archetypes or one-dimensional like just baddies, but each character has a flaw, and they sort of have like, or like there's one we didn't talk about called Ring Ring, and it's this guy who's a telemarketer, and he's like ruthless. He's ruthless at what he does, and he will not take no for an answer.
Right.
And he basically harasses the guy on the phone so much that the guy gets in a car accident and dies.
Oh God!
And so then he's, guilt-stricken that he like killed this guy, and then everywhere he goes, phones start ringing as this like vengeful spirit's like coming back from the dead, and like constantly, and his life kind of unravels as he like tries to figure out how to appease this vengeful spirit. So that's like the classic, very Twilight Zone-esque, sort of ironic twist on bad deed.
Okay. All right. Right on. I totally thought and then left it. It totally went away. That's just the day it is.
It's Sunday, man.
Yeah. All right. I think I was thinking about one of those. It's the seaweed one where they're like very.
Oh,
necks.
yeah. To tide you over.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I was.
Even the title of that one is like.
There's a lot of that. Like a lot of the titles are very like tongue-in-cheek, clever kind of thing.
It is. Creepshow did a really cool thing where they like really, really embraced that EC comic vibe, and they gave it that living comic book quality. Like, remember there'd be a shot where like a character's in shock and it sort of like pushes in, and then the background turns into almost like a shock balloon.
Sure. Oh, now I remember. Yeah. So, do you have any actors that are attached at this point?
I have a bunch of actors in mind, but we haven't done the casting.
Well, that was my next question. I was like, who is... Because traditionally, with like Twilight Zone especially, and I think, a bunch of the other ones, it was this is a chance to pull in an actor we wouldn't get for
Sure.
a feature length story.
Sure.
So like, if you could just have your pick,
Yeah.
you know, who are your actors?
Oh man. I mean, the main casting for us would be like the Montgomery Dart character, the mortician, because he's like to call him a crypt keeper. I feel like he's doing a disservice because I think he has much more depth than that.
Crypt keeper was a puppet.
Yeah, exactly. Crypt keeper was like a funhouse version of like Rod Serling. It's like we can't do the smartness of Rod Serling, so let's just have a crazy puppet tell jokes.
Right.
I guess he's from the comics too. I guess that's where he originated.
Sure.
Oh man, I don't even for some reason I love Jeff Goldblum.
Oh
so
yeah.
Much.
All right.
I feel like we can't get to him. I'm sure. I love. Man, this is a terrible name day for me.
That guy who did that thing.
Ted Danson.
Oh yeah, he's a great actor.
Can you imagine him as
the
crazy
host?
looking crypt keeper?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because like, I don't know that people really think of him as that. Like, oh, he's a really malleable actor, but in the past few years, I went from watching him in Bored to Death, which is
I love it,
very sarcastic comedy, and then we saw him in Damages. He's like this sort of. He starts off as this sort of ruthless businessman, and then like another season later does this about face, and he's this sort of like Bill Gates kind of hippie guy, and it's like. He's a really good actor.
He's incredible. I always think of, I think it's Three Men and a Little Lady.
Okay.
Because you remember in that he's an actor, and there's that one part where he puts on all these prosthetic makeup to look like this like really old priest.
It's been so long. Yeah. Okay.
And I loved that has always like stuck with me, like how he like transformed, and you don't see him that way. Like he's always been like kind of like he was like the sexy guy,
right?
And now he's sort of like he's still the sexy guy. He's
a
good looking guy, But I think that's an important thing for this project too, is that we don't want to cast the guy we've seen a million times as a crypt keeper. We really want to cast diverse. We really want to cast against type, specifically. And you bring up a good point about anthologies, which is that ideally we'd be able to get these really great actors and put together an ensemble of like really great people, and they can come in for 5 days. They're in, they're out. They're one of the 5 leads, and it's fun. Hopefully it's a fun thing. It's not something it's not gonna be it's not gonna mar their career in any way. It's gonna be, if anything, it's gonna be a look how cool this guy is or this girl is. So they're gonna be able to come in.
It's kind of like, you know, why you do a period piece or something. It's like that cool slice of like, look what I can do. Yeah.
And that's how Tales from the Crypt really capitalized on that. Like they got. I think I was reading a book and they were talking about how at one point in time the producers, like, his voicemail was full of all of these famous people that wanted to be in an episode. He couldn't even like accommodate them all.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome because that's like such a campy, like gory, like there's a lot of nudity in it. But it's just so much fun. I remember Schwarzenegger directed an episode, and Michael J. Fox did an episode.
Nice.
Danny DeVito.
That's funny.
An episode? I don't know.
Huh. I know you got to get going. It's almost 3 here, but I wanted to ask. Do you know what cameras you're going to be using? What kind of tech you have? Are you renting stuff? Do you have it?
No, we don't have it. We're probably going to be renting, borrowing, maybe. It's going to be we're taking a little bit of a guerrilla approach. Yeah. I used to be a photographer, and I used to be really a stickler about cameras. Yeah. At this point, it's not really that. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, we shot our Kickstarter video on the 5D, and I was like, that looks great.
Those are great cameras.
They're good cameras. Fine. Yeah. I mean, it's more important to. I was listening to a Q&A. The guy who did Blue Ruin. Okay. The guy who directed is also a cinematographer. Yeah. And it was he was just like, he's like, look, I don't really care. He's like, if I can take a cheaper camera but get more days to shoot, that's a win. And to have the cinematographer be saying like, I don't need the fancy camera. Like, just give me a nice camera that can get the image and let me like make the movie. I feel like that's sort of the direction I'm going. Yeah. All cameras look pretty great to me. The Red looks great. The Alexa looks great.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, those are great. Those are fantastic cameras. The Alexas are awesome. Yeah. This is a total side note, but I was at the YouTube space, which is down in Culver City, and Alexa had sort of a like a promotional like Like they had a setup and they had
Cool.
everything, and they had not the one they just released, which is the cheaper version, but they had like the big Alexa, the $20,000 camera or whatever it is, and it has these remote attach-ons. That was a totally made up word. It has.
I go with it.
So
you had me.
So it has all these remote control things, that accessories. That's what those are. That are on there, and you can have two ACs not touching the camera off to the side. One controlling the iris and the zoom, and the other controlling depth of field. And I was like, that is amazing to me.
We did that when we shot The Root of the Problem. My producer was also my cinematographer, and he has some equipment, and we had that remote focus.
Nice.
And he just had these giant like plasma or these like really fancy screens, and people would just sit. I would sit there, and there'd be like the guy pulling focus, and we'd just sit there, and they'd be pulling focus. And I was like, this is amazing. Right? This is incredible, because it was such a small room too, and we didn't need to have a bunch of people like crammed in there.
Yeah, it's totally awesome. It's just like, it's getting to the point where you could just. That guy could be in Japan doing that. Like,
oh my god, can you imagine?
Like you
outsourced.
Yeah, exactly. Pullers? Like yeah. Like crowdsource movie.
That would be crazy.
That'd be hilarious. Can you stick around, or you wanna wrap it up? It's almost an hour in, so
yeah,
we can.
We're good.
All right, well, cool. The anthology is called the Mortuary Collection. You guys can find it on Kickstarter. The link is down below on my YouTube page, where you can also find the blog with some of the artwork, basically everything that's on the Kickstarter, and the mini doc at sandproof.tv. And that's it. Is there anything else you want to put out there?
Man, this is so much fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for joining me. Cool,
Absolutely.
Man. All right. And say hi to Zane.
Say hi to him right now. I wonder if he's watching.
Oh, well, yeah.
What's up, Zane?
Cool. All right. Guys, stick around. I'm going to come back and pimp some other stuff. But I'll walk you out.
I just want to do that thing, in a talk show.
Yeah. Where
they say, stay tuned, we'll be right back, and the camera pulls out, and they like having like a private
conversation. Yeah, this thing.
Do you think they're just...
Yeah. Yeah. It's similar to the end of Naked Gun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
The one where he's pouring the coffee.
Right.
He just keeps pouring it.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right, cool.
Awesome, dude.
I'll be back. All right.
That was fun.
Cool, man. Hey, thanks for doing that.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I guess I'm just like, it's like a weird Sunday. I'm just like not.
There's no air in here. It's like, yeah.
The brain's like not working.
No, I totally understand. No. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Sorry, I escorted my guest out. Now I'm hanging around. I can do this, and let's. Why is that so? So anyone that is hanging in the chat room, I did this earlier, but I am giving away 4 copies of the. I'm on this camera. Of the Workaholics DVD, Season 4. It's I believe this is a double disc, 2 discs in here. You can get this. 4 people will win a copy. You can find it on my website, samproof.tv. And yeah, there's about 6 days left to enter for that. So get on that. And thank you for joining me. I'm going to be live on the YouNow. So that's younow.com/samproof in about 2 hours. Yeah, that's about it. And I think we'll be doing this kick-in segment probably weekly. So stick around. Words do not work well. Subscribe to my channel, and you'll see when those are coming up. You can also hit me up on Twitter @SamProof, and you'll get all of the announcements for that. Mark Davison, thank you for participating in the chat room. If anybody else is still watching and wants to leave comments, that's awesome. I don't know what else. Man, it is so warm in this garage today. My brain is like malfunctioning. How are you guys doing? Is it good where you are? My dog is here. Charlie, come here. Come on up. Come on. Sit. Oh, don't lick me. No licking. There you go. Charlie. There we go. Yes. Let's see. Can we bring this down a little? Great. Focus. Focus the thing. Looks like 5 people are still watching. If you've caught up to my lag, let's see. Yeah, so that's the Mortuary Collection. Super cool. I'm pretty excited to see what happens with that. I'm now actually looking through the pages of the Channel Zero that he was talking about, and I just realized I know like so many people in like their cast and crew because I scrolled down. So yeah, here are some other things you should check out on I'm moving this camera on Kickstarter, as well as the Mortuary Collection. Channel Zero looks to be an awesome project. You have, are these all actors? Wow, Tony Charlene, David Thune, Betsy Sidaro, who was on Animal Hospital, Eugene Cordero, who was I think on Mad TV. Oh, it probably says House of Lies, King of Summer, Afternoon Delight. Tony Charlene was on the Birthday Boys show. Ronnie Adarian was on Key and Peele. Mike Still from Happy Endings and College Humor, and the Kroll Show. I don't really like the Kroll Show, but all those other things are awesome. Yeah, Channel Zero looks really good. Reading Rainbow, of course, a really good project to support. You can find other cool things on kickinshow.com. I'm kind of in the process of merging my site, samproof.tv, and Kickin' Show. So you can go to either of those URLs and find stuff. I'm going to throw a quick tweet out there. I'm going to hang around if you guys want to chit-chat or anything like that. Ryan. And yeah, if you're watching somewhere where you don't see the chat room, go to youtube.com/samproof and you'll get to the page where you can leave comments. Mark, you still hanging? Boom. Great. Yeah. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to be doing these YouTube live streams every Sunday. I think I might be doing them at 3 p.m. in the future as opposed to 2 p.m. when I started today. So this exact time every Sunday in the future. And for those of you coming by who don't know me very well, I am Sam Proof. I do weird news sketch comedy and live streaming on my YouTube channel, as well as some other things. I was Raz on the Tim and Eric Show, and I just got cast in a filmmaking reality show called The Real Deal. So you'll be hearing about me more. But thank you for joining me. And my camera is doing this weird pulsating focus thing. That's awesome. I love autofocus, don't you? Great, guys. I will be on YouNow again in 2 hours playing Pictionary with everyone. All you fine folks who want to join me over there, younow.com, younow.com/samproof. Just select the tube part and change it to the word now, and there you go. That was really not helpful instructions, I'm sure. Kind of bummed. We had some technical issues earlier when I was trying to start this where it would not let me go live at 720p. So the quality is a little lessened than I would have hoped, but it is what it is. There we go. Coolly cool. So yeah, if you've made it this far into the chat, I'm going to pull this, make some noise. Great. Let me know what your favorite anthology segment was. I know a lot of you are so young that even Tales from the Hood was probably already out of theaters. But no, let me know what your favorite anthology segments are, and I'm gonna take the comments from this chat and add them to the page on my my YouTube channel, or not my YouTube channel, my my blog, which I totally meant to submit to some things. Where is that? We'll do this. Yeah, so I'm gonna add them to the blog page for this archive. If there's any good thoughts on anthologies. And just anything we discussed, if you have thoughts on that you want me to send along to Ryan and the Mortuary Collection team, go ahead, leave them in there. They'll be checking in. And thank you for joining me again. It's always good seeing you. It's hard to keep this going when I have no guest and no interaction with the chat room, so I'll probably wrap it up soon and go eat my very cold Del Taco tacos. Tacos. Taco. But then I will be live on YouNow to play some Pictionary with you guys over at this setup. Over there somewhere. That probably was just a bright light. Cool. Must fix camera. So outy. Yeah. I should actually check my Twitter, see if there's any comments there. Buffering. Okay, do this. Throw that up. Fly. Copy. Caught it. No, I didn't. show me, no. Such as such. Goody good. Peak curtain 9. Alright guys, I guess I will officially wrap this up and come back in about 2 hours on younow.com/samproof, where we'll be playing some friggin' Pictionary, which is a good time. Trust me on that. People love that junk. And I don't know where I put it. For the final pimp out on this, I am in fact giving away 4 copies of Workaholics Season 4 on Blu-ray. Go to samproof.tv to find out how to win. You have about 6 days left on that. And I'll just throw this up here. So here you go. Yeah, go there. Enter to win this. You can get one that's not been printed upside down. And thank you again for joining me. If you've actually made it this far into the video, or if you scrubbed all the way to the end, leave a thing that says "I love mangoes" or something, because that's a ridiculous thing to say. I'm trying to find my production loop, because I did not have that set up. This particular software setup was a second backup because the original thing was not working, and I had to do something quick. So it sucks to be me, but let me see if I can just throw some junk in here. Okay, like that. Do this. This. Just gonna take a quick look to see if I can't find a little something else. Actually, while I'm here, we're gonna do a little something called pimping out other projects that I do. So this is a segment. We're going to wrap it up with this because this has everything I want at the end, called Weird News. So I'm going to let this run. This is something I do on my channel multiple times a week. It's the Weird News. This is a Science Jerk segment. And why is that green? I hope this works. I'm going to let this go, run off to the bathroom, and then by the time I get back, I will... Oh, Murder Bot Productions! I love you guys! I guess, unless we're going to have a conversation. Alright, I'm gonna play some Weird News, then I'm going to run back, see where we are, and I might end this, go get lunch, and then do Pictionary live on YouNow. So stick around and see what happens. Wearable clothing could send more than your vital signs to doctors. With more on this story, our resident science jerks, Dave and Chan.
I don't know whether or not the clothes make the man, but in the future, your clothes might be making you a doctor's appointment. Small flexible sensors are being developed which can be sewn into clothing to constantly monitor your heartbeat, breathing, temperature, and other vital signs in order to warn you of impending illness.
Wearable sensors are already being used to monitor the health of patients in clinical studies, and proposed future applications range from early detection of a cold virus to the onset of chronic conditions such as diabetes, coronary disease, sleep apnea, ulcers, or even a sudden accident such as choking or a bad fall.
Of course, ethical issues still need to be worked out concerning who should have access to such comprehensive real-time health information. But in the meantime, we here at the Science Jerks don't mind testing out an early beta of this exciting technology. Isn't that right, Science Jerks Lab Coat?
Dude, I'm so high. Why am I always so high?
That's the spirit. What about you, Science Jerks Underpants?
Please kill me.
You wish. How's your health looking, Chan?
Let's take a look.
I've seen terrible things. Things I can never unsee.
Shh! Snitches don't get stitches.
For more information, Google wearable medical sensors.
And remember, folks, for more weird news, head over to soundproof.tv/weird news. And for more fashionable science, check out those slacks on Dave. Or check out ScienceJerks.com. Remember, guys, stay strong, stay weird, stay science. Wearable clothing could send more. Did that just loop back to back and play twice? Oh, that's the wrong camera. This camera. This thing. Flip. Okay. Thanks for joining me, guys. I will see you in an hour and 45 minutes on my YouNow channel. We're going to play some Pictionary. Otherwise, I'll see you back here next week. I don't have anything lined up yet, but I will. I'll figure something out. Thank you for joining me. Go check out Murderbot Productions. Those guys are hilarious, and they will be a part of Video Fight Club coming up Thursday. But you can find the current Video Fight Club on soundproof.tv/Video Fight Club right now. And vote for your favorite. It is Loser Comedy versus Pregnantville. Well, those are two very good videos. Pregnantville video is better video. Okay, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week or later, like in an hour.